Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session from STEM Space. I hope you all are doing well. Yeah. Okay. So here I am, Arjun from STEM Space, and with me here we have Aditi ma'am. And for the next 1 hour, we are going to be with you, and we are going to tell you something very interesting about astronomy and the night sky. Yeah. So before we begin, let me just wait for others to join. Right. So you are not able to hear. Aditi, ma'am, am I audible properly?
Yes, you are audible.
Oh,
Bhavya, just try to check your connection once.
just try to check your connection. Yeah. Okay. So basically, guys, here is the thing. Before I begin the session, let me just tell you some of the rules that we will be using for the session. Yeah. So good morning, Mayank. So with the what are the rules? Basically, the rules is rule number one. As you all must be seeing that you cannot unmute yourself, right? This is because this is deliberate, because if everybody unmute now, it kind of cause a kind of a chaos, right? So basically we have kept all of you on mute. All right, so whatever questions you have, whatever problems you have, you just write it in the chat. Aditi ma'am here and me myself will be keeping an eye on the chat. Yeah, okay, thanks for clearing it up. So we are keeping an eye on the chat, and all your questions will be handling through chat itself. Okay, that is one. Now during this session, I'm going to show you something very interesting. If possible, follow along with me. If not, just see the session, just try to understand what all I'm saying. We will be providing you the recording of this session later on. All right. And the third and the final thing is that at the end of the session, we are going to have a quiz on Kahoot. I hope you all are aware about that. Yes. Yeah. Okay, great. So for that, it is preferable that you keep a second device with you. Okay, maybe a mobile and Android based mobile or any kind of mobile. Okay, so the students are still joining. So let's just begin. So first of all, welcome again, everyone. Welcome to the session by STEM in Space. Uh, yeah, sure, Vikram. But again, just ask it on the chat. Okay, now guys, do remember this one thing, because since we are using the chat for the questions and for getting students queries, please do not spam it. Okay, so unless you don't have to ask a question or maybe share a fact, don't write anything in the chat. Okay, that would really help us, and basically let's say seeing what all you're saying. Okay, yeah. No, not join with the two devices. Get the second devices ready. Keep the second device ready. I'm going to tell you what you have to do with that. Okay, right now just don't anything with that. Just keep it on the side. Okay, so that is it. Okay, great. So with this, let me begin today's session. All those who have joined till now, let me introduce myself again. I am Arjun from STEM Space, and with me we have Aditi ma'am here. And like I was saying, that you all have been kept on mute. So and all your questions will be catered to in the chat itself. All right. So with this, let's begin the session. So in this session, what we are going to do today, I am going to tell you about the night sky. I'm going to tell you that basically in the night sky, how do we see the things? Obviously we know that there is a very beautiful moon in the sky. Obviously we know there are many stars over there. But how do we read that sky? How do we find out which star is which constellation is which, and how do we identify the planets? So this all thing I'll be telling you in this session. Okay, so I hope you are interested about it. Yeah. All right, so if you're interested, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, so over here there is a reaction panel, and just go over here and just give me a thumbs up over there like this. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, so with this, let's begin the session. So over here, I'm going to show you one app which is called, one software which is called Stellarium. The mail that you have got, in that same mail, you must have received the link for Stellarium, right? So Stellarium is a software which enables us to see the night sky. To basically, it is an interactive software which can show. I'll tell you what it does, right? But we'll be using that software only. Okay. Now, in that software, there is a very interesting thing that for desktop, if you use it, for desktop, that software is actually free of cost. It's an open source. So you can go to the website and you can download it and you can install it in your system, like I have done. But as soon as you try to install it in your mobile phone, like let's say an Android based device or an Apple based device, iOS based device, it charges some money. So for that we have, yeah, so exact, Anandi. So with that we have basically, we have given you some alternate apps you can use, like Skyview Lite or Sky Safari, right? So I'll be showing you those softwares also, those apps also, and tell you that how basically it helps. Okay, so without wasting any more further time, let me just start sharing my screen and start showing you the software I am talking about. So is it visible? Aditi ma'am, can you confirm?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, great. So here is the thing. This is our basically, yeah. Okay, Aditi ma'am, can you keep an eye on the waiting room also?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Okay.
So guys, so this is our software. This software, as you see, this software is called Stellarium. Right? Now, this Stellarium, how to download it, how to get it, we have already told you in the mail. Yeah. Okay. So basically what it shows, this software, it shows you the sky of your location at any particular time of the year, at any particular time, at from any location. So you can see it, you can judge it, and you can basically understand that how it all works. Okay, so just to show you that how, what is the interface. So as you see, as I'm panning my screen, you are able to see that there are two things visible: the ground and the sky. So the this app basically works like a game. Okay, so in this game you are the character, seeing from a first person perspective. All right, and you are standing in a very big field. All right, so in this field you can see the ground, you can see the sky, and you can see the line where the sky and the ground meets. Can anybody tell me what is the name of this line? Just write it in the chat. What is the name of this line? Yeah, let me just see the
Sai has
chat.
given the right answer first of
Very
all.
good, Shane, Sai. Okay,
So
Asmi,
there's
Ananya, very good, guys. So all of you have given the correct answer. Yes, this line is called the horizon. Obviously, horizon doesn't mean that the sky and land are actually meeting over there, right? It's just that they seem to meet on that, right? So basically the sky hides behind the ground after this. Okay, so this is the horizon, and you will see that just below the horizon there are few alphabets written over here, like S, SW, SE. What do you think? What are these alphabets? And as I pan the sky, as I pan the ground, you can see that these words appear all around. Obviously, right? So it is the directions. So here is the thing. Now, guys, remember this thing. Whenever someone asks you what is the direction, so direction are always pointed towards the horizon. Okay, their directions are never pointed in the sky, directions are never pointed on the ground, they're always pointed towards the horizon, right? And that's the reason that these alphabets are written on the horizon, telling you which direction is it. And yes, like all of you are telling in the chat, yes, very good, everybody. So these S, SE, SW, these are the direction like south, southeast, southwest, so on and so on, right? So till now, what we have seen, we have understood the interface of it, right? So what exactly the software interface has. The next thing I'm going to tell you about it, that how do we use it to basically to understand the sky. So let me just get to that. So to understand the sky, it basically has two panels. Okay, one vertically on your bottom left edge, and one horizontally on your bottom edge right here. So I'll just point my cursor over there and you will see here is this panel one, and there is another panel like right here. And through these panels, you will be able to control this software and let it do whatever that you want to study with. Okay, I can pan it like this and this so as to see more of the sky or more of the ground. All right, so let's just get started. So first thing this software has is this first icon. It says location window. Now this is very interesting. You see, this software enables you to see the sky from any particular location on the earth. So if I just click on it, I'll be guided to the world map, and this arrow shows where I am on the world map. So instead of, so right now I'm sitting in Delhi. So it is showing me the sky of New Delhi right now, right? So now this time, instead of the New Delhi, I want to see that how does the sky of New York looks like. So I'll just click over here, and you see that on the east coast of USA over here, it's night right now. It's way beyond, way past midnight, right? So you can see that this is because that the earth is round, and if there is sun shining on one part of the earth, the other part there is complete darkness, right? And that's what happened. Now what is happening? If in India it is day, the part which is opposite to it, like US, is night. So this way you can see the sky from any location. You can see the sky from, let's say, US. You can see the sky from South America, or maybe in Africa. You see in Africa, it is already, let's say, the morning is all started happening. So you can see that the sun is rising from the east over here, right? So over here in Africa, right now the sunrise is happening, right? So basically, you can see all these things, and so this is the location window. Now, if you understood it, let's get back to our location, which is New Delhi. So here we are at, let me just type it right here, New Delhi, and here I am at New Delhi sky. Okay, so this is the first thing. Now, after that, what is the second thing it can do? Like I told you, you can see the sky from at any particular time. So the next arrow over here, it's called date and time window. So if you click over here, you can check which date and which time sky you want to see. So right now the time is 10:44 for me. So if I want to see the sky of tonight, I will change this time to, let's say, basically it used in 24, it runs as 24 hours, okay, clock. So 20 means 8 o'clock. So at 8:44 tonight, the sky will look like this. You can see that there are so many stars in it. Yeah, in all the direction there are so many stars. So you can see these, and yeah. So this was the sky. This will be the sky of tonight. All right. Now the next thing I want to show you in it, that how does the sky moves. Okay, so for that, let's just get back to the time we have right now. Yeah, time right now. So basically, the next thing what we can do now, we can either zoom into things or zoom out of it. So just to show you more of the sky, I'm zooming out of the window right now so that you can see more of the sky right now. Okay. So if I have zoomed in over here, let me just show you that how does the sky basically move. Okay. So we all know that the things rise in the east, right? So we all know that the things rise in the east and this sets in the west. So are you all able to understand that what I'm showing right here, right? So if you are able to understand, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. So let me show you that how does the things move. So if I fast forward the sky over here, you will see that the sun is moving across the sky now. Yeah, and the time is changing very fast. So after some time, the sun will set. And once it sets, the darkness starts happening. And then the stars start rising. So you see that how the stars are moving. Anything which is rising in the east, like this Arcturus, you see where is it setting? It will set over here in the west. But my question to you is, what will happen to the things which are rising from the southeast, like this moon? Just see where exactly it is setting. Where do you think where it will set? It will set west, southwest, or northwest? Just write it in the chat.
So
Just keep on.
they have,
Exactly,
yes.
right. Yes. So it works like this.
Arjun sir, if you can also explain what is Julian Day, because it was there in the Stellarium also. One student was
Okay. 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 So basically, Julian day. So there are two types of days over here. Oh, okay, wait, let me just show you. So what is Julian day? So basically there are two types of days over here. One is we do it in the normal format, which we call that the normal day, like 24, basically this, let's say 1st of May 2021. There is another type of day which is there basically, which is continuous. It does not change, it does not repeat, it does not change, it keeps on moving, right? So astronomers, to find out which date, did they use that term like Julian day, right? So to make it easier, you just, that is also a date basically, that is also a date, but in like different calendar, there are different dates. Like in Hindu calendar, if you see different dates, and like that, Julian date is also a different date. And yeah, so it give scientists use it to basically study it. Okay, Joe, now moving forward over here, I was telling you guys, how does the sky move now, since the day has happened, but we want to look at the stars. So what I'll do for this, I will just remove the atmosphere. We can do this, do that even. So anybody, can you guess that if Earth does not have any atmosphere, how does the sky look like then? Just take a guess. If the Earth does not have any atmosphere, how would this, very dark, right? Because the sky is blue because of the scattering of light of sun, right? So if the atmosphere is not there, there would be no scattering, there will be no blue color sky. So let me show you that if the atmosphere is not there, this is how our sky would look: completely dark and full of stars, even when the sun is present. Right. So with this, let me just move forward and show you that how will this things moving. So you did you see the moon? It rose in the southwest, and it rose in the southeast, and it sets in the southwest. So basically, you see that how the things are moving. People say that the stars and the sun rise in the east and they set in the west. It's not always true. There are many things. There are many things in the sky which are which rise from southeast and sets in southwest. So you see, there are some other stars like this. If they rise over here, they set very quickly. If they rise from over here, they set very quickly right there. So now you understand that how the sky is moving. So it is moving like this. So whichever is from the east, it is setting in the west, like that. All right. Now let me tell you what is the reason for it. The reason for it is that it's not the sky which is moving, it is actually the earth which is moving. So if you want to do this activity, you can do it right now. Guys, you just see that if you, let's say you assume yourself as the earth. So if you're sitting like this and if you start rotating like this, start moving like this, you will see that all the things will start moving in this direction. Yeah, they will start moving in this direction. So this will be your east, this will be your west, and if you move like this, it will rise from the east and set from the west. So which are at the bottom, they will move like this. Which are at the top, they will move like this. Same way that you see the sky here moving, isn't it? Now tell me one thing. If you are the earth and you are spinning like this, what do you think will happen to the stars which are just right here, just above your overhead? Just think, if you're spinning like this and there is a star which is just above your overhead, what do you think what is happening to that star? How is that star moving? Write in the chat, come on. Yes, so yeah, so Pradyansh, so Pradyansh says yes. Okay, so Dharya Lakshmi also, both of them say it will not move. So everybody, do you understand? Yeah, it will move, it won't move, it doesn't move, right? It does not move at all in the sky. So instead of the south, now let's get to the north part of it and see whether it is true or not. So because we are in the northern hemisphere, we are on this side, we can see the north spinning point, but we cannot see the south spinning point. Okay, so over here, if you see the north, can you see it like this? Same thing is happening. Things are rising from the east, they're setting in the west. Things are rising from northeast, they're setting in northwest. Oh, sorry. They're moving in the sky like this, they are setting over here. From the northeast, they're moving in the sky like this, they're sitting in northwest. But you see, there is one star over here. I'll just annotate it and I'll show this star to you. Just take a look at this star right here. As all the other stars are moving, do you think this one is moving at all? No, right? It is not moving at all, right? So because it is right on the spinning point of Earth. And this is the star which never moves in the sky. Which star is that? Asmi have already answered. That is the North Pole star. Exactly, right? That is the pole star. Very good, Asmi. So the one star in the sky which does not move at all is called the pole star. So guys, tell me, if we have found the pole star in the sky, don't you think we'll be able to find the directions in the sky with it? I'll tell you how. Let's say because the pole star is on the northern, the pole star that we're talking about here is on the northern spinning point of Earth, the northern axis of Earth, it will always point to the north direction. If you find the pole star and if you drop down it on the horizon, you will always land on the north direction. So tell me, let's say, okay, everybody, let's do this exercise. Let's say this the screen that you're facing, me, I'm in the north direction. Okay, for you guys, I'm in the north direction. Where will be your south? Just point it and tell me. If I am at your north, where will be your south? At your back.
Very good.
Exactly, right? So very good, guys. So if I am towards your north, the south will be towards your back, right? So, and now where will be your east? Tell me, where will be your east? On your right hand side or your left hand side? Exactly, Dharya Lakshmi. It will be on your right hand side. So if you are facing towards the north and the south is at your back, your let's say east direction will always be towards your right, and your west direction will always be towards your left. Okay, so if we go by this basically this entire process, and we have found out the pole star, we know that where is the north. North is in front of us. So can't we tell that where will be the east? East will be on our right, and west will be on our left, and south will be at our back. So it means that if we have found out the north direction, don't you think we'll be able to find all the four directions? Yes, exactly, isn't it? So that's how we find the directions in the sky using the stars. We do it with a one very special star, and that star is called the pole star. Okay, so next question should come from you guys. All right, sir. So if the pole star can be used to find all the direction, how do we even find the pole star? I mean, how would I know that this is a pole star? Because right now you are like fast forwarding it, and that's for why we can see that it is not spinning. But if I just stop it, if I just stop it like this, then stars are not at all moving. Out of those stars, how will I ever be able to find the pole star? Because if you look at like that, none of the stars is moving. Right. So Ananya says, observe for a few days if a star has moved. But what if you don't have a few days? What if you're lost in a jungle at a night time? I know that it usually happens in the stories and all, but let's assume that it happens, because this is what happens with the navigators in the sea. It used to happen in the navigators in the sea at the night time, right? Sometimes maybe for some fishermen in the boats, like there are many instances that where people need to find out the direction without any compass or anything. How will they do it then? They don't have, let's say, many days to do it. So very good. So Anushka, Dharya Lakshmi. Okay. So Dharya Lakshmi, basically we won't be having a, let's say you don't even have that compass. You have to do it with the stars. So there are two ways of finding it. We find it using some of the patterns in the sky, some of the very easily recognizable patterns in the sky. Okay. So those patterns in the sky are called constellations. So at this point of time, I'm going to start telling you what exactly is a constellation. Okay, so ready for it? Yeah. All right, so great. So basically for that, while moving the sky, we have gone too far ahead. So let us just bring back to the day right now, right here. Okay. Oh, it's day again. Yeah. So let's go to tonight. Okay, let me just fast forward it a bit and let's go to tonight's sky. Here we have the tonight sky. So in tonight sky, you see that there is a pole star and there are different stars around. Now remember I told you that there are two panels, one on this side and one on the bottom. So the bottom panel right here is this panel. Okay. So this is the panel on which there are different icons which we'll be using to see those constellations. So first let me tell you what are constellations. So there are different stars in the sky. People imagine some stick figures around some of the stars to imagine some figures around like this. They join the dots of those stars to make different patterns. And if they're able to recognize these patterns, they name it with some name like this. So there are different constellations in the night sky. So if you ask me, sir, how many constellations are in the night sky like this? There are a total of 88 such constellations. Right now, out of those 88 constellations, the pole star that we're talking about, it lies in the constellation of Ursa Minor, right here. So it is a small bear. You may not be able to see it. You may not be able to basically imagine it using the stick figure. So now this app has a very cool thing actually. It can show you what those shapes are supposed to look like, what people imagine them to be. And it is like this. So if I were to say that there is a line sitting in the sky, that is the Leo, it will look, I don't know where like Leo has not read it. It looks like this, right? So I'll just zoom it in and show you. So this is the Leo. You can see that these stick figures are making the face of the Leo. This is making the body of the Leo. This is making the tail of the Leo. Similarly, we have the Virgo. So this is the body of the Virgo, one hand, second hand, and the legs. Okay, and some of the people are saying Orion. So Orion is not Orion is right here. Right. So let me just move it a bit like this. And here it is the Orion. You can see that Orion is a man standing. It is a hunter which is standing with his prey over here and with his basically blunt kind of a weapon. And this is the body, this is the torso, this is the head, this is the, what we say, the belt of Orion, this is the hind leg, and this is the front leg of Orion. Right. So this way they are able to make different stars. And now with this, let me tell you that there is one very special star which is just behind the Orion. This is the Sirius. Now remember when I ask some people, okay, so tell me, how do you think we are going to find the pole star? People say, sir, that's very easy. Pole star is the brightest star in the sky. You just have to find out which star is the brightest and you will get the pole star. It's not that. Pole star or Polaris is actually the 42nd brightest star in the sky. You know that. Then which one is the brightest? This right here. This one, which is shining brighter than all the others. This one is the brightest. Its name is Sirius. Right. So these are the constellations. Now out of you, I told you that in the sky there are a total of 88 constellations. So some of them you are able to see above the ground, some of them are below the ground. So let me just remove the ground for a second and show you how this entire sky looks like. And it looks like this. We have divided the entire sky into different constellations like this. Yeah. So this was it. So let me just bring back the ground. And over here, let's just go back to finding the pole star. So to find the pole star, Big Dipper, it's not Big Dipper, it's Big Dipper, Mayank. Okay. So Big Dipper is actually the part of a constellation called Ursa Major. Can you see this constellation, the Ursa Major? It is a big bear. Now, this big bear is actually a very easily recognizable constellation in the night sky. Right. So if I were to remove all of this, everything, out of all the stars in the sky, you will be able to recognize it very easily. It looks like a spoon in the sky. The 7 stars. We call it in Hindi, we call it Saptarishi. Right? So they looks like this. There are 7 stars which are forming a kind of a spoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Can you see a spoon making over here? So this dipper is actually, what is a dipper? Dipper is a spoon which is used to feed the babies. So it is a big spoon like this, so they call it the Big Dipper, right? So this over here is the Big Dipper. It's made up of 7 stars. Are you all able to recognize this? This one? Yeah. So just go out tonight and try to recognize in the actual sky. Once you are able to find this Big Dipper or the Saptarishi, no, we can use this Saptarishi to find our pole star like this. So in this Saptarishi, guys, pay attention over here. In this Saptarishi, you see there is the tail over here, and then there is this kind of a cup. So the ends two stars. This is one, this is two. Okay. These two stars are able to find the Polaris. How? What we do is we join the line from these two stars like this, and we keep on extending it. As we keep on extending it, this line lies and goes to one very bright star over here, this star, and this star itself will be the pole star. So what all you have to do, you have to find that spoon. Okay, take the end two stars from the cup end, point it towards where is the cavity. This is the cavity, na? So you have to point it in this direction. Okay, whichever the first brightest star you will be able to see, that will be your pole star. Are you all able to identify it now? So should I give you an activity? Yeah. So this is the activity I'm going to give. So what I'm going to do is I am going to zoom the sky in for a moment. And after zooming it in, what I'm going to do is, here we have zoomed, I'm moving across the sky. And after moving across the sky, I am going to reach this, the stars again. So here we are in the same part of the sky. So once we are in this part of the sky, guys, I'm going to mark a few stars over here. Try to identify that Saptarishi and tell me from that Saptarishi, which one do you think is the pole star? Okay. So the first star I'm going to mark is this. Yellow is number 1. Okay. Second I'm going to mark is this. The red is number 2. Okay. Blue is going to be the 3. So this one is number 3. Okay. And pink is going to be number 4. This one right here is number 4. So tell me, which one do you think is the pole star? Great. So I can see many answers coming on, and all of them are saying it is the blue one. Yes, you all are correct. So this blue one is the pole star. How do we know? Because we are very easily able to identify that spoon now. Yes, don't you think? And from that spoon, we know that yes, this star right here is the pole star. Very well done, everyone. So it tells me that you all are paying attention. That's great. Now, you know what will be even more interesting? If you go out tonight and try to identify. So basically, in the night sky, now obviously these from the city skies, not many of these stars are visible. That in any case, you will be able to see this this Big Dipper at least. Okay, just try to find this Big Dipper and try to see if you are able to find this Big Dipper. If you go on a dark enough sky, you will be able to find that pole star. Okay, so yeah, that's great, guys. So this way we are able to find stars over here. But there is a catch. You see, Earth is moving around the sun. Yes. So if in the summers, and it completes one circle around the sun in 1 year. So if in the summer, if this is the sun and this is the Earth, and in summers, Earth is right here. In winters, Earth will be halfway across the orbit on the other side of the sky of the orbit. It would be right over here. So the stars which are visible to us in the summers are very different from the stars which are visible to us in the winters. So I'll tell you how. Let's say, just to give you that idea, let me just bring back these constellations for you. And once I bring back these constellations for you, let me just show you that how the sky will change if I were to change the month from May to December. In the month of December, this is the sky which looks like in the north sky, in the northern part. Are you able to see Big Dipper in the sky at all? No, right? Because Earth has moved to the other part. And because of that, not all the stars are visible at every day. Right? So basically, it keeps on changing. So if I were to tell you that, if I were to ask you rather, that what do you think? It means that we will only be able to find out the pole star in the summertime when the Big Dipper is there. How do we find it in the winters then? So we do it with another constellation, and that constellation is called Cassiopeia. Can you see the Cassiopeia over here on the top? This Cassiopeia, it forms a big M in the sky, big M or a W. Can you see over here? This right here is the Cassiopeia. It forms a big M or a W in the sky. So in winters, if when the Big Dipper is not visible, na, this would be visible. And just like the Saptarishi, this is also very easily recognizable. But the thing is that in the winters, finding the pole star through this constellation is a task of a pro. Okay, if you ask any, let's say any person, he might be knowing how to find it from the Big Dipper, but not everybody knows how to find it from the Cassiopeia. So after this session, now there is a thing that you can brag to your friends about it, that I know that how to even do it in the winters. So let me just show you this way. Okay, and that would be very easy after once you have learned it. So just like the Big Dipper, you do it through this M-shaped Cassiopeia. All right. So if I were to zoom it in right now, this Cassiopeia looks like this, and this is the Cassiopeia, and this is our Ursa Minor. And this right here is our pole star, also known as Polaris. Okay. So how do we use this Cassiopeia to find the pole star? It is basically a bit more, what I say, a tricky than the previous one. I'll show you how. Okay, so I hope all of you have learned about angles, right, in your school. Yeah. So if you see in this M, there are two angles. This is angle number 1. This is angle number 2. This number 1 and number 2. You will see that the angle number 2 is bigger than angle number 1. Angle number 1 is acute, angle number 2 is obtuse, right? So we ignore angle number 1 over here. We just ignore it. We use this one. Okay. So here we are. We have established that there are two angles. One is bigger, one is smaller. So in the bigger angle, what are we going to do now? We are going to mentally, this whole thing is mental, right? It is all imaginary. So we are going to divide it in 3 different angles. One over here, like this. Okay, making sure all of them are equal. Mentally, everything is done mentally here. Okay, so this angle right now, the second angle, what we do, we extend this line, and this line goes and lies on this star right here, and that star is our pole star. Have you understood how to do that? So should I give you the same activity again? Will you be able to find it? Yeah? Are you okay? So everybody understood, or do you want me to repeat it again? Just write in the chat if you want me to repeat it again. Yes. Okay. Okay, great. So I can hear no. Can we find it with the brightest star of Ursa Minor? But for that, you want to identify the Ursa Minor first, right? But Ursa Minor itself is a fainter constellation. So you are more likely to see the Cassiopeia than you are likely to see the Ursa Minor, right? So that's why we use the Cassiopeia to find it. Okay. So here I'm going to remove all of these stars over here. Okay. And I'm going to just move the sky a bit. Again, here we have just moved it. All right, so let me just try and get to the same part of the sky we are before. Wait, and here we are. Okay, so guys, we are at the same part of the sky. You are just not able to see it. So I'm giving you the same activity again. So, okay, so I'll be marking 4 stars right now. You tell me which one is the pole star. Red is the first one. Uh, this blue is the second one. Okay. This yellow is the third one. And this pink is the fourth one. Okay, so you are not even letting me, you won't even let me complete the options. Yeah. Okay, great, great. I can see all of your answers in the chat. Yes, it is the yellow one. So if you see, this is the W or the M I'm talking about. And since this is the bigger angle, you can easily find it using this rhyme, right? So very good, guys. I can see all of you have said yellow and all of you are correct. Kudos to you, right? So with till now we have learned that how to find the pole star. So no matter which time you are looking at the sky, if you are able to find these two patterns in the sky, you will always be able to find the directions. And if you are able to find, just follow these two things, you will never get lost, no matter in how much darkness or in on which place you are, right? So that is something very interesting. Yeah. So once we have learned this, let me just tell you a few more things to you. So basically, this software right here, now, this is not only to find and learn about this night sky. You can even plan your observation with it. If you want to observe that, okay, tonight Mars is going to be there, how do I find the Mars? You can use it. And when do I see the Mars? You can use this software to use to find that. So to do that, there is one option which says over here the search window. Okay, in the same panel, this one says search window. Okay, so in the search window, what I'll do, I will click and I will say Mars. As soon as I click on Mars, press enter, and it has pointed me to the Mars. But I'm not able to see it because the ground is here. So I'm just going to remove the ground right here, and here is the Mars. So if I want to observe the Mars, now what I'll have to do, I will have to fast forward the sky, put the ground back in, fast forward the sky, and see at what time it is rising. So the Mars will rise over here. Let it rise, let it rise, let it rise. So first the moon is rising, and then the Mars is rising over here. So so you see it's rising just before the sunrise. Right, so it is in the December. Okay, so we are still in the December. We didn't come back to our today's place. Yeah. So this way you are always able to find different things in the sky. Not only Mars, you can see anything in the sky like this. Let's say I want to find and look for the only galaxy visible to the to the naked eyes, the Andromeda galaxy. Right? Andromeda galaxy. I'll just press enter, and here is the Andromeda galaxy. So if I want to see where exactly and exactly I'll be able to see it. Okay. I'll be able to see it just before the sunrise in the northeast direction right here. Right. So this is the Andromeda galaxy, but obviously we are not able to see it because it is not visible. You see, to see it, what you know what we can do? I can just zoom it in. Okay, I can just zoom it in. This galaxy right here. I can just zoom it in and see that how does it look like. Yeah, so this is the nearest galaxy, nearest major spiral galaxy to our Milky Way. Right. Similarly, there are other things in the sky which we can see, like Jupiter. If I want to see that how the Jupiter looks, I can zoom in the Jupiter even. So I can see the Jupiter as well as its 4 moons. Right. So it looks cool, right? So yeah. So it shows you the telescopic version of it. That from the telescope, how will it look? And you can see it for all the different kind of things in the sky. Anything you want to see. All right. So this is all about the Stellarium app. Now there is one more very interesting thing you can see in the stellarium, that is the Milky Way galaxy. You see, now is the summer time, and I know with the COVID situation and all, nobody is able to move out of the homes, right? But summer is actually the best time to see our own galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, because in this, the very beautiful band of the Milky Way is visible in the sky. And it gets better the as you get to the darker and darker sky. So if you were to go to any mountains right now, you would see it in its full glory, right? So over here in the software, we can use it to basically to increase it. So let's say if I were to increase the brightness here from 1 to 10, I can see the Milky Way band very bright moving across the sky. So it looks like it is a very beautiful thing. So basically what it does, it goes from one part of the sky to the other part, making like complete a rip in the sky, right? This is because there's a galaxy and there are far too many stars in it. And that's why it is basically it is visible, like you can easily be able to identify it from the rest of the sky like this. From the south to north, it will go on like this. Yeah. So this is the Milky Way. So next time, if you get a chance to go to any location, to any dark location, see if you can find this Milky Way. Okay. So that is, so this is all. So guys, this is, now I've just given you the overview of the software. There are far many things you can do in the software, which is not possible for me to explain you in 1 hour. But I think I have given us more or less a way to start learning yourself, right? So you know now that how it all works, how it all looks like. You can now open the software, explore yourself, press different keys in it, see what it does, and try to understand what these things are. So if you want to see, like I was using some of the controls over here to fast forward, to back, to remove the atmosphere, to no, not now Anmol, not now. Yeah. So basically to fast forward it, to basically so to remove the atmosphere, remove the ground, all of this, how do they do it? We do it using you can also learn it using this help window. Okay, there is this help window, and in it all the different controls, all the different shortcuts are given. So you can take a look, just see all of everything, and you can just find out basically what all is here. You can find out about the exoplanets, as well as the atmosphere, the ground, how do you want to move in it. So everything, every control is given in it. So just move it, just see it, and just try to yeah, you will even be able to see the Titan. Yes, Vikram. So just type the Titan and you will be able to see, like, if anything, it's all up to you. I'm leaving it up to you, right? So just see it. Okay. Yeah, obviously. See, Sai, well, basically we can see the Milky Way at night, but not from Delhi, unfortunately. Because in Delhi, Delhi is a major city, or in any other major city, right? So we won't be able to see it because there are far too much light pollution. In the city, there are lights in every homes, there are lights on street, there are lights in basically in all the public places. So the sky is not as bright. But if you go to any remote location, like a national park or a forest, or maybe near the seas, or maybe near the mountains, then you will be able to see this Milky Way. Right. So this was all about the software. So with this, yes, there is a black hole at the center of our Milky Way. Right. So it is right over here. This is the Sagittarius A. So it is right over here, right about here, that black hole you can see in the screen. Yeah. Okay. So with this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and stop showing you about this software. So tell me, how do you like the software? Was it good? Yeah. So after this session, are you going to work on it on your own, try to explore it on your own? Just do that. Okay. So you want me to show you once again how you have to install it? Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to show you that even. Wait. Let me just share my screen here again. And here, so what you need to do is you need to go to the Google and type Stellarium, Stellarium, and then you will be guided to this link. This is the link we have already given you in the mail. Okay. If you go on the Stellarium website, on the top part, right over here, you will be seeing the link to download it on different systems. If you are using Linux, you can use this. So basically you can use all this till here. Okay, if you're using Linux, you can use these three. If you're using the Mac OS, you can click on here to download it. If you're using Windows, you can use these two to download. Yeah, so from here you can download this software and install it in your system, and it will run just like it is running for me. Okay, so this was about this software, but that was not the end of a session. Like I told you, basically the thing is that right now I told you about this, what you can do is in your laptop. But here is the thing, that when we are going to look at the night sky now, obviously we won't be going around carrying our laptops with us, don't you think? We won't be there carrying our laptops, right? So what we'll be most likely be carrying? Our phones. So isn't there a way that I can have the same software in my phone which I can see while using the sky, while seeing the sky? Yes, we do. Unfortunately, the Stellarium for our system is paid. So I have told you to do basically another what we say software, that is the Sky Safari, right? So in that Sky Safari, let me just show you. Let me just share my phone screen. Okay, so give me a minute, guys. So in the meantime, just ask one or two of your question. I'm going to do what? I am going to share the screen of my phone with the Zoom, so that I can show you that how I can use that app to observe the night sky. Okay, so let me just give me a minute to do that. In the meantime, please ask your question. Aditi ma'am is here to answer your questions.
Yeah, I'm here, so you can just write in the chat also. And as Sir said, that Stellarium cannot be downloaded in the phone. If you want to download it, you will have to actually pay. It's a paid software, so that's why. So that is why we are
I
giving
mean,
you a
you can do
version.
it, but it is like $300 or something.
Yeah,
We prefer that you use some other which are like open source. It does the
open
same kind
source.
of work. Yeah.
So it's a free version which we can use, and it works the same way. You can further explore the night sky using the phone version, or you can just try do it in your laptop. Some of the you have told me that you have downloaded it, so you can explore it the same way Arjun sir has told you right now. You can see the stars. All the stars are available. You can just write the name of those stars and pinpoint where they are and further understand about the planets and everything. Okay. Yes, Apurva has also downloaded it.
Okay, great. So guys, I'm all set. I'm ready. Let me just share my screen and show you my phone. All right. So here I am. Let me just share the screen. So here you can see my phone on your screen. See, it is the same screen. I can move it and you can see over here. So the software which I'll be using over here is the Sky Safari. Okay. So let me just click on the Sky Safari and show you that what does it look like. Okay. So the Sky Safari is right here. So as you can see, this is the app that I have in my hand, and you can see as I move it, you can see it moving on your screen also. Yeah. So let me just show you that how does it work. It works in more or less the same way. Like you can see the horizon, you can see the direction, you can see the constellations over here. How many constellations are there in total? There are 88, right? You can see different planets over there. You can see the sun and many other things in the sky, right? And if I move across it, you can see that it is moving. I can zoom in, I can zoom out just like the previous. But all I'm doing it with a touch of my hand. First thing I'm going to tell you over here is the settings part. Okay. Let me just enable the location also. So yeah. So if I go to this settings part, as I click on the settings, you can see that different settings has appeared on my screen over here. Like what do I want, the date and time? I want the current date and time, the location where I am right now, obviously. Right. How do I want to see the horizon? Realistic, solar system, realistic. Right. So everything like that. What type of constellations I want to check? Yes, obviously I want to see the mythical figures. If you don't want to see, you can uncheck that. I want to see the lines also. If you don't want to see the lines, you can check that. If you don't want to see the constellations at all, just remove it, right? All of this you can check your basically your different settings you can change from over here. Once the setting is done, I'll show you the next part. The next part is just left of settings. It says selection. This selection part, as soon as I click on it, so basically it says object info or center object. So if I just center the object, it just centers the object which I want to see over here. So the first thing, just next to it, this is the search window. Can you see a mic, the magnifying glass kind of thing? What I say? Wait, let me just annotate once again. Can you see this icon over here? This icon, it says search. So if I just click on this search, you see that there are different options comes up. So this is the added advantage of this app. It shows you tonight's best. What is the best thing which is visible in the night sky tonight? And as I click on it, it shows me that all of these beautiful things are visible in the sky tonight. Right, so I can see the Andromeda galaxy tonight. I can see the Crab Nebula, the Orion Nebula, everything I can see. So if I just click on this Andromeda galaxy and I press on center, it shows me where is this Andromeda galaxy. And if I zoom in, I can see that yes, Andromeda galaxy looks like this. Just like I can see it on my let's say the laptop, same thing it does over here. But it has one very interesting thing. That is the best thing I like about it. You see, on this software, there is one thing says compass. Now, this is mostly dependent on your phone. So I won't say for sure that all of you will have this option. This option will always be visible, only be visible to you if you have the gyroscope in your phone. It is not something we can add or we can subtract. It is there in the system settings. If it has a gyroscopic settings in it, this compass settings will be available for you. If not, bad luck, right? So we cannot do anything about it. So this compass, what it does is this one, as soon as I click the compass, my phone actually it shows me the sky as I move around it. If I'm moving in this direction, it is showing me that which all stars are moving in this direction. So for me, sun is actually right about here. If I hold my phone like this and it shows the sun over here, it means that the sun is right above over here. If I go to my back, so this is basically in my back, these all stars will be visible. So as I move around it, all I can see is that which star or which constellation is it. So I can actually use it to see it in the sky. I use it like this, I keep it like this, and I look in the sky right here. Okay, so this star is over here, this star is over here. So I can use my phone to help me learn about the night sky, right? That is something you will never be able to do with your laptops, right? So that's where the apps comes in. And over here, just next to this compass, there is one another thing which says tonight. Okay, in this tonight panel, as soon as I click on it, it shows me that all the things which are visible in the night sky tonight. Okay, so over here, like I want to see, let's say what do you want to see? Let's say Jupiter. If I want to, not Jupiter, Saturn, they are very close. But this is very interesting thing, guys. Okay, so since we are having this session right now, let me just tell you some of the important things which are coming up this month. On 17th of May, you see Mercury, Mercury as a planet is very close to Sun. So if you see it in the night sky, if you ask even people that, do you think you will be able to see Mercury with your naked eyes? People will say, no, are you crazy? Mercury can never be seen with the naked eyes, but it can. Only just that it can be seen with the naked eyes at a particular time of the year, right? So which is this one. The time is right now. On 17th of May, if you go just after sunset tonight, you'll be able to see the Mercury just after sunset. And on 17th of May will be the best time to see the Mercury because it is the highest in the sky it can get. So if I just click on Mercury over here, it shows me that basically how it all looks. So if you want to learn the description about that planet, there is a lot of information about Mercury you can read about here, right? So, and if you just want to see that what time it rises, what time it sets, you can get this data from over here. That it rises at 6:21 a.m. and it sets at 8 p.m. So it rises just with the sun, it rises just after the sunset. Yeah. So if I were to go let's say in the sky tonight, if what I do is, if I've enabled the what we say gyroscope, then there another option will come up at the bottom over here, right over here. It says locate. Otherwise, it will be center over here. It says locate. So as I click on locate now, you will see that there is an arrow comes up, and this arrow will guide us to the Mercury as I keep on moving my phone around. You see, I'll keep it keep moving it, moving it, moving it. So here it has guided me to Mercury. So I can use it that okay, right here will be the Mercury for me, right? So don't you think that is interesting, right? That would be cool, right? So it makes your job very easy. So here is the Mercury. As I see it, I can zoom it in, and this is the Mercury, right? So this way you can use it in, let's say, in all the different situations over here, in all the different places, and it will help you to plan your observation, do your observation, observe the night sky, and with these apps you will finally start understanding the night sky on your own, right? So I hope this was very interesting for you, right? So what do you think? Do you find it interesting or not? Just tell me honestly. Okay, so if not, just tell me personally. Don't try to write it in the in the public chat. Just type it personally. Yeah. Okay. Great. Great to hear that, guys. So with this, this was just one last thing I want to tell you. See, there are so many things I just want to tell you more. Want to tell you more and more. So if I see now, if you see this bottom panel in this app, I'll just move it like this right here. And as I move it like this, there is one option which you will see as night. So what happens now? To see the stars in the night sky, you will see that if you ever do this telescopic night sky stargazing on your own, if you start doing the stargazing, you will see that to see the stars properly, you need your eye to adapt to that darkness, because it is the same thing. From a very brightly lit room, if you go to the darkness, you won't be able to see anything. Same is true with this app also. If you are using your mobile screen which is emitting very bright light, and then you want to see at the stars, you won't be able to see the stars at all. It won't be able to visible, it won't be visible to you. So what you should do in that case, it means that the software that I told you till now, it becomes virtually unusable for you, because as soon as you start looking at the screen, all the fainter stars will disappear for your eye. So for that case, just use the night mode. As soon as I click on the night, you will see that all of this has gone dark and in red. Now this is the light which is least bothering to your eyes. Your eye will be least susceptible to it. So if you are looking at in this light, it won't be harming your dark adaptation to the dark light, so that you can see the stars, right? So if you're doing it, just use the night mode. All right. So this was all about the softwares. If you have any more questions about the softwares, write in the chat and I'll address it right now. Okay. So I hope some of you were doing it with me while I was telling all of you, or like say all of this to you. Yeah. So I'll just stop mirroring my screen. Okay. Great. So here we are. And with this, any questions, anyone? No? How do you find the session so far? Was it a lecture? Was it a lecture that you get in your school? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was like that. Ritvi says it was like that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, no worries. Now comes the interesting part. If you didn't like it till now, you will like it now. Remember at the beginning of the session, I told you that at the end of it, you're going to have a quiz. So guys, right now is the time for your quiz. And now is the time for your second device. Okay. So I'm going to show you that how will the second device work for you and how will you be able to use it. Wait. Okay, just wait a sec. Yes. So what we will be doing is we will be doing the quiz on a platform known as Kahoot. Okay, it will be the Kahoot quiz. So how many of you are aware about the Kahoot? Tell me, is anybody of you is aware about the Kahoot? How do you play the Kahoot quiz? No, no. So I'm going to tell you. So Kahoot is basically a platform where all of you will be able to do the quiz in real time. So how will it work? I'll just show you with the help of a small PPT for you. Okay, so here. So basically what you need to do is you need to go to your second device. Here we are at a second device. This is the phone, right? In the phone, everybody's phone has a browser. If you are using Apple, you may be having Safari. If you are using Android, you must be having a Chrome or some other browser, UC browser or any kind of browser, right? So just go to your browser and type this URL, kahoot.it. In case someone have installed the app, just open the app. If you have not installed the app, just go to your browser and enter it, kahoot.it. Okay, as soon as you enter kahoot.it in your second device.
Just a second, Arjun sir. I think there are some students who can't hear you.
Okay,
Dear, just write in the chat if you're able to hear or not.
okay,
Janisha
can you
said,
hear me now?
yeah, Kishore was there. I think just try to increase your volume, dear, because I think everybody else can hear. It's
Okay,
audible.
so what you need to do is open the browser in your second device and enter this URL. If you have the app installed for Kahoot, just open the app. Okay, so here we are playing, we are adding kahoot.it and just enter kahoot.it, and in your second device, it will say this. Is it saying this, that game pin enter? Yeah, so this is not the game pin, guys. Don't start entering right now. I'm just giving you, okay, don't start entering right now. This is not a correct game pin. I'm just giving, I'm just showing you just for the sake of, let's say, showing it that how exactly it will work. Okay, so this is not the game pin. This is not the game pin for you right now. So I'll be sharing the game pin. As soon as I share the game pin, you have to enter that game pin over here. Okay, once you enter the game pin over here, just press enter. It is going to ask, enter your name, enter any nickname you want to enter over here. Okay, your name or any nickname. Again, this is not the game pin. Game pin I'll be sharing with you in just a minute. Okay, then this is how it will work. So the question will appear on your Zoom screen right here. In the same screen that you can see all of this, the question will appear for you. In your second device, you will be seeing these four options. You won't be seeing the question. You won't be seeing what all answers there are. No, you will just be seeing these four icons. You have to see the question in your Zoom screen. You have to find out that, let's say if the question is this, that where does the light of the moon come from? If you think that the answer is sun, in your second device, just click on the blue icon. Okay, your answer, all of your answer will be submitted, and you will be there on the, basically you will be there on your, on the second, let's say on your what we say, it will be submitted. Okay, so that's how it will work for all of us. So everybody, are you ready? Have you understood, or does anybody have any questions that how does it all work?
Yes, most of them are giving the
Okay,
thumbs up.
okay, they have given the thumbs up. Let me just share the screen and just me let me just start the quiz and share the screen with you.
I think there are two students. One is saying it doesn't have a second device.
It doesn't have a second device. Okay, so in case it doesn't have a second device, now there is another way for you. Okay, so let me just show you that way for you first. So what you need to do is just give me a second. Okay, just give me a second. So please wait, guys, just wait. So in case you don't have the second device, now what do you do? First thing, what do? You just go out of the Zoom. So here we are on the Zoom screen. So on the top of the Zoom screen over here, you will find an option which says exit full screen. Okay, just exit the full screen using this command. Once you are exited the full screen, then go back to your browser and do the same process. Press kahoot.it. Now open your browser and your Zoom side by side. In half the screen, open Zoom. In half the screen, open your other device. Okay, open them side by side, and now it will work for you just like you are seeing it on the screen. On the Zoom, you will get a code, enter your name, and then the question will start appearing for you. Okay, you just open your Zoom as well as your second window side by side, and you will be able to work on that. I hope this solved for you. So let me just go ahead and let me just share the game pane with everybody. So guys, just enter this game pane. Okay, and once you have joined in, let's just wait. Okay, once you have joined in, it will say you are in and your name will be appearing over here. All right, so once your name appears, so just wait for everyone to join. As soon as everyone is here, we will begin the quiz. Okay, just do it fast.
Arjun sir, can you share the music?
Oh, sure. So here, let's hear some music also, obviously. Yep. Yeah, okay, 11 students have joined. Everybody please join fast. As soon as you join, you will see that your name has appeared over here. Okay. So 17, 19 students are here. Great. Let's wait for, I'm waiting for at least 33 of you to join. So join fast and then we will begin. Okay, guys, do fast. We are giving you 2 more minutes for this. All right, and then we will begin the quiz. Come on. 25 are here. 26, 27. You say, are you able to see your name over here? If you are able to see your name, just wait. Okay, a few more students are left. Yes, it is Yashasvi, it is joining. I hope you will be able to do it. So just try once again. Okay. Is there anybody who's facing any problem? No? Come on, join in fast. We are waiting for others. Yes, come on. I'm giving you 2 more minutes, guys.
So guys, this is internet dependent. So maybe for some, if it is not able to load, it is because of your internet connection.
So yeah, just click on EN. Okay. Yep. Okay, 28 are here. Do it fast. Come on. I'm giving you 1 more minute. 29 are here. Okay. Is there anyone who also wants to join? Students, 30 more seconds. If you want me to extend the time, just write it in the chat fast. Okay, 30. Ashwath is here. Great. No? Okay, so let's begin in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody, let's get ready and the question starts now. So the first question for you all is, what did we learn in the session today? Come on, what did we learn in the session? We learned how to find the north direction using stars. We learned how to use apps to identify the planets. We learned how to find constellations in the sky, or all of the above. Come on, answer it. Great. So here is the thing. None of you was wrong. The thing is that you just didn't select the correct option because everything which is mentioned in this over here was taught in the session. So the correct option is all of the above. So with this, let's see the scoreboard. So the person who answers the fastest will be on the top. But all of you have 0. This is because this was a trial question. Okay, since you haven't played it before, this was a trial question just to get all of you up to speed. So I hope now you all know that how this quiz works. So we will be ready to do it from next time onward. Everybody, are you ready? Fingers on your devices. So let's get ready. So the next question for you is this. Question number 2. What is the other name of Pole Star? Come on, is it Sirius? Is it Rigel? Is it Big Dipper? Or is it Polaris? What is the another name for Pole Star? Is it Sirius, Rigel, Big Dipper, or Polaris? Everyone, come on, answer fast. Only 23 of you have answered. Others, do it fast. Very good. So 18 of you are correct. So the name of the star is Polaris. Remember, I just clicked on it and I told you even that the name was Polaris. So you have to be attentive. Now, guys, here is the thing. If you don't know it, don't shy away from answering because there is no negative marking over here. Okay. So it is the same punishment for not answering as it is to give the wrong answers. So just give your answer away, even if it is a guess. Okay. So with this, let's get to the next question. So before that, let's see the scoreboard. Who is there on top? So on top, we have Malay, followed by Joy, Sai, Dhairya Lakshmi, and Anandi. So very well done, guys. So with this, the first question is through. So let's see the next question. Everybody ready for the next question? Let's see if you can also get on the podium. Okay, I want to see if everybody try to get on the podium now. Okay, so the next question is this. Total number of constellations present in the night sky are, I told you this answer. Total number of constellations present in the night sky are 100, 76, 88 or 118. Come on everyone, answer fast. Come on. Yes. Very good. So 21 of you gave the correct answer. Right? So very well done, guys. Okay. So there are total of 88 constellations, not 180. So with this, let's see. And now the podium has completely shifted. So Dhairya Lakshmi is on top now, followed by Sai, Anandi, Varada, and Mayank. Okay, so with this, very well done. Let's get on to the next question. Okay, so everybody ready? So Malay has the highest answer streak of 3. Very well done, everyone. So let's get to the third. Next question. So Polaris is the brightest star in the night sky. True or false? Is it the brightest star in the night sky? Come on, answer it. Okay. I told you that, right? Polaris is not the brightest star. It is the 43rd brightest star in the night sky. And that's the reason we need these 2 other constellations to find the Polaris. 13 were you are correct and 17 of you got this question wrong. Doesn't matter. I hope now you know the correct answer, right? So if after this point, if anybody says that Polaris is the brightest star, you can correct that person, even if you yourself are wrong now. Okay, so let's see the scoreboard, and it has again completely changed. So we have Sai on top, followed by Shane, Varada, Ritvi, and Hai. Okay, so with this, 3 players have reached the answer streak of 3. So that's great. So with this, let's get to the next question, everyone. So the next question is this. What is the name of a helicopter flown on Mars in April 2021? So this is actually based on the recent news which is happening in the world of astronomy. This month, a helicopter was flown on the Mars surface for the first time, and it created history. What was the name of it? Was it Ingenuity, Curiosity, Perseverance, or Pathfinder? Come on, come on, come on. Two of you gave the correct answer. It is Ingenuity. This was not about this session. We are testing that how well you are aware about the happenings of the astronomy world. So basically, let me tell you about this. This is actually something very interesting which is happening. So you remember 2-3 months before now, it made huge news all around the world that the NASA have landed another rover on Mars surface. The name of that rover was Perseverance. Now, on top of that rover, we actually sent one very interesting thing. We sent a helicopter. This helicopter, which you can see on your screen. So this helicopter was the first time anybody has ever even tried flying something on another surface. What makes it very interesting is that on the Mars surface, the density of air is 100 times thinner than Earth. So it is almost like vacuum. And the temperature can go as low as minus 100 degrees Celsius. So to survive in that harsh temperature itself is a challenge. So how do you make a helicopter which can fly in that condition? That was a very big challenge for them. And they are able to complete it. Were able to complete it. And now this achievement, they flew it many times. And yesterday they flew it for the fourth time. And this time they cover a distance of 100 meters. So this is a very big achievement. It is still going on. So if you are not following it till now, start following it, because this is, scientists are saying this is equivalent to the Wright brothers. You know the Wright brothers, the people who first flew the airplane. It is just like that. They were able to fly the airplane first on this Earth. Here, the scientists are able to do the same on other world. So in future of astronomy and space sciences, this is going to be a very big milestone which is happening right now. So keep on following this news. So only two of you get it right. It's well and good if you got it right, but even if you got it wrong, I hope now you know it. So let's see who all got on top. So was a combo breaker. So 4 players just dropped their answer streak. So Sai and Shane were okay. So the top 5 stayed like this. So with this, let's get to the next question. Everybody ready? Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, so the next question is this. India's mission to take humans to space is called? India's mission to take humans to space. What is it? Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Gaganyaan, or Artemis? It is very much in the news right now. It is related to ISRO. What is that mission called? Very good. 9 of you are correct. It is called Gaganyaan. And you know, astronauts, the first 3 astronauts for the Gaganyaan have been finalized 2 years from now, and they have even completed their training. Right? So these were the people who were Air Force fighter jet pilots, and they were selected to be India's first indigenous astronauts. They will be known as Vyomnauts. India's astronauts will be known as Vyomnauts, and the mission through which they will be taken to space is called Gaganyaan. It is going to launch by next year, so keep an eye on that. Okay, so with this, let's see the next question. So before that, let's see the podium. So here we have the top 5 remains completely unchanged: Sai, Shane, Vardha, Ritvi, and Hai. But I see that it is going to change very soon. So to 8 places, Juhi Shinde is the highest climber. Way to go, guys. So with this, everybody ready for the next question? So the next question is this. Question number 7. What is the name of the brightest star in the night sky? If Polaris was not the brightest star, then which one is? Is it the Rigel, Sirius, Deneb, or Polaris? Come on, answer it. Okay, that was my bad. That is my bad. Okay, so yeah, so the correct answer is Sirius. That the correct answer was Sirius. So it's okay. So it is not Polaris. It was Sirius. So yeah. So don't worry about this question now. I mean, it must have done your basically it must have changed your podium. So sorry for that, but yes. So I see that 20 of you give the answer correctly. So that's great from your behalf. So don't worry about the podium now. Yeah. So it was actually your Sirius, not the Polaris, and Malay. You give the wrong answer here. Okay. So with this, let's get to the next question. So the eighth question over here is, which planet in the solar system has the highest number of moons? Everyone, just give this answer correct. Yeah. So is it the Jupiter, is it the Saturn, is it the Uranus, or is it the Neptune? Which one of the following has got the highest number of moons in our solar system? Come on, guys, do it fast. Yeah, three of you gave it correctly. Actually, until recently, Jupiter was the planet with highest number of moons. But recently, 19 more moons of Saturn were discovered. And with this, the total number of moons for Saturn has climbed up to 81. And now Saturn has become the planet with highest number of moons. So the correct answer in this case is Saturn, and very few of you are able to give the correct answer. So it's okay. So let's see the top. Okay, so the podium stays like this: Sai, Hai, Malay, Dharya Lakshmi, and Shane. So very well done, guys. With this, let's get to the next question. So the second last question is this. You know that there are asteroids in the night sky. What is the name of the biggest asteroid? Who know this answer though? What is the name of the biggest asteroid in the night sky? Is it Ceres, Vista, Hygiea, or Makemake? Yeah. Come on. Very well done. Yes, 19 of you are correct. The biggest asteroid is Ceres, and it is also called a dwarf planet. Yeah. Very well done, guys. Let's see the scoreboard. So here on the scoreboard, we have Hai, Sarda, Sai, Varda, Ritvi, and Shane. So with this, very well done. Let's get to the next question. So the final question is this. When was the universe formed? How much years ago the universe was formed? 13.8 million years ago, 13.8 billion years ago, 15 billion years ago, or 7 million years ago? When was the universe formed? When did the Big Bang happen? Yes, it was 13.8 billion years ago, right? So yes, so it is that basically that old. Yeah. So with this, our today's quiz comes to an end. So let's take a look at the podium. So on the podium we have Joy, third, very well done Joy. In second we have Ritvi, very well done Ritvi. And on the podium we have Hai. Okay, so whoever was Hai lived up to his name, so he's on the high on the table. Yeah. And on fourth and fifth, Sai and Vijay Lakshmi, very well done. Kudos to you too, and kudos to everybody who participated. So tell me, how do you like the quiz, everyone? So with this, I'm going to stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself now. So guys, tell me, how do you find this session? Was it good enough?
Sir, it was amazing.
It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was me, Vikram. Hi.
Awesome.
Hello, Vikram. Hello. So great to have you here. So yeah,
Do again, please.
the quiz again. Okay, maybe the next time. Yeah, maybe the next time. So with this, guys, let me just so our today's session comes to an end. If you guys have any question, please let me know right now. Otherwise, I just have one more thing to share with you all. Okay. So
No
here.
questions.
No questions. Yeah.
Sir, what is the best app for this?
Was nice.
It was really nice. Okay, great. So with this, guys, let me just ask you, tell you one more thing. So STEM Space, at STEM Space, we come up with many such sessions like that. And basically, this is the, yeah. So I'll just take the question. Just let me just share this now. So over here, we are coming up with one of our programs known as the Cosmic Zone. Therein, we will be telling you more about the universe, more about the things which is happening in the universe through different sessions. They will be just like that. It's just that they have some hands-on activity also in them. Just because this was mostly the demonstration where I expected you to do it, in all of them we will be doing some activities together, right? So in all of those sessions now, basically you will be learning more all about the changing climate. So what is the impact of the climate change, and how do why do the scientists say that melting ice is actually this climate change is actually harmful for us? What do they mean by that? We'll learn that. I mean, the entire journey through the time, the cosmic calendar, we will learning that. And like, you all must have seen the images of the space taken, right? Now you know that there is no camera which takes those images. Then how do we able to reconstruct it? We'll learn that. Like, if a star is there, star is not always there and will not always be there. The life cycle of a star is a phenomena. We'll be learning about that, and basically many of such. So this is the cosmic jaunt we have. So if you are interested in the cosmic jaunt, we'll be sharing the details of the cosmic jaunt for you. So for each age group, we have different set of topics like this. So if you're interested for it, you will receive the details in your mail. So you can join us for that. Now with
Sir.
this told, let me just take some questions from you. So yes, so who wants to answer,
Sure.
ask a question now? So guys, just saying sir, no? So basically, like, you're not sitting in front of me. To be honest, you're not sitting in front of me, so I can't see that who is speaking. So it would be better if you could just raise your hand. There is a raise hand option over here on the bottom. You will find it. Just raise hand like that. Vikram is raising hand. So yeah, Vikram, please ask your question.
Sir, like, I don't want to ask a question. I want to tell you a thing.
Okay.
If I don't know, you know about that. In 2011,
Uh-huh.
a supernova exploded about 100,000 light years away from Earth,
Okay.
which
And
led to that its supernova beam to pass almost near through the Earth's atmosphere, which could have destroyed the Earth's atmosphere.
not exactly, Vikram. So you see, basically the supernova explosions like that far away now won't have any such effect on Earth, to be very honest. So I just want you to revisit wherever you have read this. So if you have started talking about that topic, I'll just share a very interesting thing like that. You know, in Orion, all of you are saying that, sir, there is a constellation Orion, there is a constellation Orion. So in that constellation Orion, there is one of the brightest star called Betelgeuse. That Betelgeuse is said to go supernova in a couple of 100 years. Now that star is also thousands of light years away from us. And sometime it happened last year while we all were sitting in the lockdown. Something very interesting happened. The Betelgeuse brightness dipped a lot. And from one of the 10 brightest stars of the night sky, it dropped down to around top 100 brightest stars of the night sky. That much. And scientists were predicting it might have happened because it is going supernova. Right. So that is what the supernova does. And if it were have gone supernova, so if it were to go supernova today, we won't find it out until the next 1,000 years, because that's how far away it is. Because it is like thousands light years away from us. But one effect that will happen with it is this. For whenever that supernova light reaches Earth, for at least a month, that will be the brightest object in our sky. It will be something which will be brighter than our moon. It will be something which will be visible in the daytime, and it will be there constantly for about a month. So that's the effect that it have. But yes, obviously it won't have effect so large that is going to destroy the Earth, right? So again, great that you are keeping interest in it, but verify wherever you are getting the information. So yeah, so great, Vikram. So I like it that you're keeping interest in it. So Ashwath have a question. Yes, Ashwath?
Yes, when was the Vega star found?
Vega star found. But okay, I don't remember this answer completely, but yes, it was found more than 100 years. Like, if I were to show that, it was mostly in the 1800s or something, right? So Vega is a star which is of a summer triangle, and it is a very famous star which is uh, mostly told in the ancient civilizations, by the ancient civilizations as well. So yeah, so Vega is it found a long time ago. I don't remember when. So I have another question. So Ashwath, I'll just raise down your hands. Okay, Vikram, you all had another question. Sorry, I raised down your hand also. So Ritvi has a question. Yes, Ritvi, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, like you told that the Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, but how could the scientists find that is the brightest star? That how they are fully sure that that is the brightest star?
You see, basically there are two things. One, the biggest and the most powerful star, and then the brightest which is visible to us. So Sirius is the brightest which is visible to us because it is comparatively, it is first of all, it is a blue giant. It is very big. Secondly, it is very close to us. And that's why when we see this star, it appears brightest. So all the stars, not only the stars, all the objects in the sky, their brightness is calculated. Brightness is calculated in magnitude. Like the smaller the number of magnitude, the brighter the object is. If the magnitude is in positive, it means that it is fainter. If the magnitude is negative, it means it is very bright. Like our sun have a brightness of -26, moon have -12, right? So that's how it changes. And say similar way we have for all the stars, and then we found out that Sirius is the brightest. Okay, so another question I'm going to take from Kishore. Yes, Kishore, what is your question? Okay, yeah.
So, there are many asteroids in the asteroid belt, but how does the scientists find the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt?
Good question. It is the same way that they found other planets also. It's just that they found it in the asteroid belt. They know, yes, this was the brightest, right? So it was found in, let's say, in 1700s by, well, I just don't remember the name of the scientist right now, right? So in astronomical history, I'm not very apt. I'll have to look it up again. But yes, it was found in 1700, and the person, he was actually looking at a planet. He was so sure that there is a planet between Mars and Jupiter. There has to be a planet between Mars and Jupiter. So when it found out, he found out that there was one object moving, and that was Ceres. Later on, we keep on finding more and more of those, and we found out that it is not just one planet, it is a whole belt of many such rocks like that. And that's when we start naming it the asteroid belt. But the first and the biggest to be discovered was the Ceres. Okay. So another question, I'm going to take the question from Ishita now. Yes, Ishita.
Sir, how many means are there new constellation? You showed now many constellation, but any new constellations are also there?
You see, new constellations, there was in IAU, International Astronomical Union, in 1908. It formalized 88 constellations covering the entire sky. So after that, no new constellations are added. So basically, what is the purpose of the constellation? It is to identify which part of the sky we are looking at. Let's say if I found an object, or maybe a galaxy, or maybe an object in Orion, I know that yes, we are talking about this part of the sky. If we find it in Ursa Major, we know that we are talking about this part of the sky. So think of constellations as the countries in the sky. And they are basically used to identify different places, different objects. Okay, so there is no, since the entire sky is covered, there is no need for adding new constellations, so we don't. Right. Okay, other question, I'll take one from, okay, so guys, I'm taking one more question now, and this question I'm going to take from Arinjay. Arinjay, please ask your question. Okay, if you have any more questions, just put it in the chat, okay? So otherwise, yeah. So Aditi ma'am will answer it in the chat. Arinjay, do you have a question? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, when and where will we get the recorded video of this session?
You will get a mail. You will get a mail. So you all must have provided the mail ID to us. Yes, you all have given us the mail ID. Yeah, in that same mail ID, you received a mail from STEM in Space as well. So on that same mail ID, you will receive a mail from us, and on that mail, you will see the session recording also. Okay, so that was all, guys. If you have any more question, please write it in the chat. Otherwise, I think that we are here for almost 2 hours now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed learning about the space with me, right? So I hope I'll be able to see some of you in the future as well. So
Sir,
with that,
I have another
the
doubt.
session comes to an end. Yeah. So yeah, Arinjay, please ask the second question.
Sir, does the universe has a edge?
Good question. That's now you guys, now you are starting to ask a very nice questions actually. Does the universe has an edge?
Sir, can I answer him?
Okay, yeah, Malay, please go ahead. Oh, who was that?
Sir, Vikram.
Okay, yeah, Vikram, please go ahead.
So it doesn't have an edge because after Big Bang, it started
Expanding.
moving, like it started expanding, and they have recently discovered that each and every galaxy is getting further away from each other. So it is proof that universe doesn't have an edge.
Yeah. And there is a second thing for it. Let's say, guys, you are standing in a very dark field, right? In a very open field in the dark. You have a torch in your hand. You point the torch to a certain distance. You are able to see up to a certain distance. Then you stop seeing. So what do you think? The field ends after the point you stop seeing, or you cannot see it just because the torch light does not reach there?
Because the torch light is not stopped.
Exactly. And same is true with the universe. So in the universe, we can see up to the distance of around 40 billion light years. And then that's what we call the edge of the universe, because we cannot see up beyond that. But it does not mean nothing is existing beyond that. Maybe hundreds of such distances lie beyond that, but it's just that we won't be ever be able to see. And that's why we call that edge as the edge of the universe. Right? So that was all.
One belief is there that the multiverse.
That is another
Excuse
theory.
me, sir.
Multiverse is a different theory. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir, for answering my question.
Okay, so guys, I can see that all of you are having lots and lots of questions. So if you want to answer all these questions, we unfortunately will have to come back again for another session, right? So this was all the time we had. I hope you had fun.
Your
So another way,
multiverse is known as dark matter.
We get
not
the
exactly.
name of the next session.
So not if you have session just like this, you will get to know through your school just like this one, right? If you want to join us through other sessions, like I told you for the Cosmic Jaunt, you can join us in the Cosmic Jaunt, and we will be basically we will be quenching your thirst for this curiosity of the outer world there. Yeah. Okay. So this was all about today's session. I hope you had fun with us. Yeah. So with that, everybody stay safe. Have a great day. All right. And have a great weekend. So bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye, sir.
Okay.
Bye,
Stay-
Hi, sir.
Bye, sir.
yeah, bye.
Bye, sir.
Hi, sir.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, guys.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Bye.
Sir, bye, ma'am.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone. Yeah.
sir.
Have a nice day.